And now we come to the middle child, that is powered vehicle number 3, which is a tank. Another tank, a second tank, I should say. And yes, you can totally take the powered suit and you can stick it on the back there. It just slides right in with friction. He actually uses his forearms actually slide along a track that runs along the inner side. So that's pretty neat. There's no pegs or anything. It just slides in and fits with friction. So, but the friction is nice and tight, so you don't have to worry about it falling out. Anyways, there's powered vehicle number 3. And I should point out two things that aren't mentioned in the instructions. One, you can pull off the tractor treads. I'm not entirely certain why, but presumably it's for more, you know. And then you can also take these rocket engines, which are seen so prominently in the first video that I showed you, or that I recommended. There's a pair of engines that sit on either side. They just sit on friction pegs, so you can pull them off. I did not know that either of those could do that on Saturday night when I was going over this whole thing. So I was like, this thing is amazing. And it doesn't mention either of these things happening in the instructions. So presumably you're just supposed to figure it out on your own. And again, that just gives to the modularity ability of the Diaclone reboot. You can take stuff from this kit and you can Frankenstein up these things pretty much however you want to. So the first thing it shows you can do is you can actually open up these and they become claws. So you can have it be kind of I don't know, something that kind of clears debris or able to lift stuff out of its way, whatever. So that's the first option. Actually, I should just keep these open. And then just going to take this and fold these down. Oh, look, it's a giant pair of legs. We're going to remove the cockpit. It's kind of interesting the way the cockpit system works on this thing. Get in there. They actually slide all the way through. And the same thing in the other direction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off and I'm going to slide it in through here. The only thing it doesn't do is kind of snap into position, which I'm kind of torn on whether that's a good thing or not in any event. And it gives you a limited range of motion in terms of how far you can slide the thing in and out before it starts looking weird, or how much it goes until it falls out. Oops, that's not what I wanted. See the disadvantage of this thing sliding in and out. Anyways, so I'm going to take this whole thing and I'm going to twist it around 180. Hey, that looks like a waist swivel. Take this out. Open up these claws. I'm often asked why it is I don't review Deluxe and Scout class Transformers. This is why. Because for small details like this, I'm totally gonna get lost in my fingers on camera. Yeah, just saying. Oh, I'm totally pulling from the wrong side. And the claws are folded into the forearms. So you get a pair of pincer claws. And there you have, let's see, what's this called? Mech Mode Landwalker. So this is the Landwalker. You also saw this prominently in that second video. Let's see, do these fold forward? Oh yeah, they're supposed to go forward. Yeah, so those go forward. I think these are supposed to be missiles. I'm not entirely certain what those are supposed to be. You have a full range of motion on the arms. In addition to the claws that you can open and close, which fold all the way back, have friction. You have ball socket shoulders. And the shoulders are very, very tiny, but you can fold them out to the side. So you can fold them out to the side. Those are on a ball joint. And then you can also rotate the arms all the way up and all the way back at the shoulders. And then obviously there's going to be an elbow joint in there as well. So yeah, Landwalker very much has some really great posability to it. Again with the itchy nose. I'm so sorry, folks. So that's Landwalker mode. ATSTs could have been so lucky. But let's mix things up even more. Take this off, stick the powered suit in here. It's actually not easy to attach this, but like, I mean, it will fit. Just So again, rather than a dedicated cockpit, you can have the powered suit E-type controlling the Landwalker. So that's it for powered vehicle number 3. Next up is a gruesome twosome of powered vehicles. They're going to be known as power vehicles 4 and 5. Go ahead and lift up the antenna. And I should point out for powered vehicles, was it 1 and 4, 1, 4, and 5, the cockpits are really detailed and actually come with paired cockpits. You know, so and then powered vehicles 2 and 3 come with singular cockpits. So ultimately, you end up with 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 mounting points cockpits for Dia-Nauts to fit into. That's pretty cray-cray, don't you think? And then we'll just fit with friction into here. And then this is powered vehicles 4 and 5. That is to say, it comes with 2 of them. Believe it or not, powered vehicles 4 and 5, I'm just going to say 4 or 5, you know. Powered vehicle 4 is sold individually as well. I think a couple of these are sold individually, but I've definitely seen powered vehicle 4 sold individually. And it's quickly become my favorite of the 5 powered vehicles just because it's so versatile in what it can do. It's just by itself, it's so versatile. It's pretty ridiculous. So let's go ahead and pop this open. You've got a little utility arm there, and then we will crack the shell. Fold open a pair of ramps. And I want to say this is like repair base mode. Yeah, this is repair base mode. And something else that I didn't know on Saturday is that you can actually extend that arm a little bit. Although I keep it retracted just because it's on the fragile side, whatever. So, and you've got a 3-fingered claw, a little peg on the end. That peg actually gets used quite a bit. I'm surprised. So it actually is possible to put the arm all the way into the repair bay, repair facility. But I'm going to fold up those fingers because it makes it really easy to get yourself caught on them. By the way, I forgot to point out, I did point it out in the original unboxing as well, do not get this for kids. Aside from the fact that it's really, really expensive, even for a repaint, it's ridiculously expensive. There's a lot of tiny things happening here, and the Dia-Nauts are not even 1 inch tall. And there's tiny pegs, and there's little antennas. They're just gonna break really easily. So don't. The Diaclone reboot is specifically meant for big kids like us. Okay, you know. So be aware of that. Do not give this to kids. Just don't. So anyways, here's repair. Is it repair base mode? Yes, repair base mode. And you can take. Is that right? Yeah, you can take the powered suit, and you can stick it in there. Just like you can actually store it on the inside too. So you can store it on the inside. Closing up these things, close it up. So that's fine. Powered vehicle 4 has these large pegs on the back side, just like it does with powered vehicle number 2. You see those pegs in the middle right there? That is because powered vehicle 4, you can attach another one of those powered suit containers, again, sold separately. You can take one of those containers and you can attach it to the back. So that's another reason why powered vehicle 4 or 5 is sold separately, is because it can be used as its own kind of mobile field base. So it's not just that this powered suit sits right here, but the container that the separately sold container for these things can also be attached to the back, which is why there's this extension of track right here. So you know the powered vehicle, or the powered suit, the container for it would attach to the back. So that way you would have a complete set. So this in and of itself is a very impressive little thing. I got to point it out right now. And I think you can take this cockpit, one of these cockpits, and yes, you can stick it in there as well. I don't know why you would put it in there, but you can. But don't forget, this is also not necessarily an escape vehicle, but this is its own vehicle. So this could be used as a launching station of some kind as well. You could have this sitting on the inside and have it be used for scouting or whatever, and then report back to powered vehicle 4. You know, so that is an option as well. You can also take the powered suit accessory sets. Those oftentimes come with accessory weapons, which you saw in the underwater sequence. You saw that one of the powered suits had some like long Waldo arms or whatever it is. There's enough slots or there's enough tabs in the top of this thing that you can peg 4 accessory clip-on weapons on the inside here as well. But again, it doesn't come with the big powered GV I.M.S suit, or let alone even the original one. It doesn't come with the big powered sets. You would have to buy those separately. So let's go ahead and fold up these ramps. I don't quite know why this next one is called attack mode. It doesn't make a lot of sense to call this attack mode, but whatever. Well, it does. It kind of does, although I think this might have been mislabeled in some fashion, but whatever. Anyways, we're going to take the forward tractor, flip it all the way to the inside, tab that down nice and snug, and close this up around it. Take these treads, flip them around like that. I think the reason it's called attack mode is that right? Yeah, the reason this is called attack mode is because you start with it in this fashion. So it's supposed to be like this. It's just a small, compacted vehicle. So this is not a support. It's a different kind of support, rather than a support for other vehicles or other powered suits to fit into it or onto it. This is meant to be an attack form all by itself. So it's a different kind of support. So let's go ahead and open up this, but we're going to turn the claw all the way around, 180. Fold it out of the way. So the wrist joint is really tight. I was surprised how tight that is. So we're going to get the claw into this fashion, and then open this up. And here comes my favorite part. I should point out that this tractor assembly is really difficult to get in and out of here. That's another complaint I have. Is they engineered it so well. It's such tight tolerances that you really got to fight to get this one out of here. So you're going to tilt it up 45 degrees, and then pull out this little tab on the front, and it actually extends it about 1 centimeter or 2, and you actually have a pair of artillery cannons. Holy shit, that is awesome. So not only is it a repair bay, but it's a mobile artillery piece. That is awesome. Or an anti-aircraft or anti-spaceship, whatever it is. Holy shit, that is neat. I'm not kidding. Even 3 days later, this right here is why this is my favorite one, because it's so flexible compared to the other ones. This is absolutely stunning stuff. And in addition to this, spoiler alert, you can use these extended cannon barrels as a heel extension for the foot, because this tractor assembly here, right here, this is the foot of the big powered GV, but it's being treated as a pair of artillery cannons right here. So this is the heel. If you need an extra centimeter or 2 of stability on the back side of the robot's heels, you have it. You don't necessarily need it though, because well, straight out of the box, the friction in the joints is so tight, you don't even really need to worry about it. Yeah, by far my favorite of the vehicles. That's awesome. That's fantastic. And then you can store the thing on the inside, or you can open up. It's just, what a versatile vehicle. I love it. However, lest we forget, there's actually 2 of these things provided in the set. So you can have one be offensive and one be support. That's great. But there's more to it than that. So I'm going to take the cockpit off. This is one of those occasions where the part swapping thing, you end up with a little bit of kibble. For this particular mode, this ends up being kibble. You're just supposed to set this aside. You can't put it on the inside because you've already got the artillery cannon, tractor tread, foot assembly thing already in there. So you can't attach it there. But what you can do is peg one into the back of the other, and there's no listed name for this one, but you can turn it in kind of a tractor trailer assembly of some kind. So there's that. Or I love this cockpit design. I like this one a lot. I mean, don't get me wrong. Actually, no. I just love so much about this whole thing. Anyways, so I'm gonna put this back on, and on the sides of both big powered vehicles 4 and 5, there's a little tab that you can fold open here. It folds open on friction, but you're going to open it on opposing sides. Let's see, did I open it on the right side? Yes, I did. And they're going to be on opposing. Let's see, I need to outline this properly. There we go. They're on opposing sides of each other. By the way, not only do these tractor assemblies have nice detail on them, but there's also detailing on the underside as well. Detailing that you ordinarily won't see because it's covered up. Even when it's in big powered GV mode, you're not going to be able to see this because this tractor assembly is going to be folded down. Cool. Don't see Super Sentai doing that very often, do you? Be very, very careful when you put these two together, just because the pieces of plastic, these tabs, are very, very tiny and thus very, very fragile. So be very careful when you put these two together. You got to be patient. And again, this is one of the reasons why I say this is not meant for kids, because it's absolutely not meant for kids. Just take your time. Be very careful. And then you can peg the two vehicles together, just like that. You won't be able to open them except for the outer doors, but it doesn't really say anything about opening any outer doors. I should also point out there's 1 or 2 additional modes where you've got all of the powered vehicles combined together, where it wants you to do this. In those cases, I would recommend preserving those tabs along the sides of the tractor assemblies, just because they are so small and they are so fragile. And again, you want to be very careful. Just carefully wiggle them apart, just like that. I'm not going to be using these tabs very much. I mean, it's a neat idea, and that's all well and good, but I'm not going to use them much. I'm not certain what piece of or what type of material they're made out of, but that's an occasion where I kind of wish they'd use die-cast metal. Although considering how expensive this whole thing is, whatever. So, anyways, yeah, you can create a vehicle mode where the two of them are stuck together like that. Let's see. That's artillery mode, and that's that thing. Oh, yeah. And then in the combined trailer mode, you take this off. Oh, I might as well do it right now because I have that ability. Okay, so for this, so you can take both of these off. Again, that's where the kibble kind of reveals itself. And something that we have not used yet is on the back of this, I think it's just command vehicle, command, whatever it is. There's a pair of, it looks like a pair of handholds, which it kind of is. I kind of wish it had been re-engineered a little differently to be kind of not an H shape or an L shape. I wish there'd been a connecting bar that runs through the middle, give it just that much more structural strength. Anyways, so you can take that thing that we just folded down and you're going to attach it to these 2 hooks in the front. And you're going to attach it to those hooks in front. There we go. And then this becomes a trailer mode, or this becomes an additional trailer. And yes, just like any decent trailer, it can turn side to side. Yeah. So you can turn the thing side to side if you so desire. What were you called? You were called Gokai Trailer and you were called Pat Trailer. Suck it, both of you. Just suck it. Because this is just blatantly better. I'm sorry. This is blatantly better. Get out. Get out. So at this point, I'm just going to put the cockpit on the inside here, just like it shows in the trailer itself. Although the crane cannot place it on the inside, that's not capable of doing that. But anyways, oops, why am I always forgetting which one to put on first? So that goes like that. I'll say it again, powered vehicles 4 and 5, my favorite of the 5 vehicles of the 5 vehicles are provided by far, just because they're so versatile. There's so much detail, and there's so many so many features on here, and not one single spring powered or electric powered feature on here either. You know, there's no tab. You push it on here, and the thing springs open, and you have to consume the entire thing. Even the cannon barrels, which are sitting right here, even those you have to manually open and close it. And it's only like, you know, it's only a centimeter or two, if that. A centimeter is what, half an inch, kind of. So, yeah, powered vehicles 4 and 5. Freaking love these things. This is a scenario that I was just warning you about. This is a scenario where you, let's see, how does this attach? Yeah, this is a scenario where they want you to open up these tabs on the side of the treads. I am not going to be doing that. It's just going to be sitting there like that. So for powered vehicle 3, we're going to start setting it up as an actual leg. And there's the connection points for the knees right there. These are the knee joints, by the way, but we're going to attach the powered vehicles 4 and 5 to these. The click that these things make, oop, no, not that way, the other way. The click that these things make is very solid, but one of the downsides, it's also really damn difficult to get the things out of there again. So, and then I also love how the tractor assemblies interlock with each other between vehicles 4, 5, and 3. It just fits in there so nicely. Now the reason they want you to tab these together is because there's going to be a little bit of that happening. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. As long as you keep a good grip on either side, you won't have to worry about that. Is this the end of it? Yes. So what's this called? Gaia powered mode. The thing about the original, the 1980s big powered, is that it was kind of sort of slightly based on air, land, and sea kind of mentality. So this is the kind of the earth, the ground version. The version that I just showed you with the well, I think it was the Land Walker. That would be the land version. This is something slightly different, so something like that along those lines. But I also find that why is that not fitting? That's why. But I also find that there's a couple of vehicles which haven't been released yet in the Diaclone reboot, which came from the original but are being integrated into these new ones. So it's kind of like taking this vehicle that originally existed over here, taking this vehicle that existed over here, and just kind of meshing the two together into something along these lines. So even though this specifically did not, this did happen in the original Big Powered, but it didn't happen in this fashion. So it's like they took the name and carried it over to this, while integrating elements of two separate vehicles that used to be able to combine. So this is, or two separate vehicles that didn't combine in the past. They took those two things and they kind of merged them together, remorphed it into something like this. So this is this Gaia powered mode? Yeah, this is Gaia powered mode. So it's just, it's a thing. So here's another one. This one's going to be called Gaia Quaker. Quaker as in earthquakes, mind you. So we're going to start getting into actual robot combining. Ooh, I felt that. What happened? Okay, so at this point they're going to have me fold up the feet. That's it. And again, at this point, here are the heel spurs. So you could pull out the cannon barrels from the Powered Vehicle 4's cannon or attack mode. You could pull that out if you want to, but you know, I find that the big powered GV isn't really all that top heavy or back heavy. Well, I mean, it's top heavy insofar as it's a giant robot, but whatever. And then we're going to take these tractor treads and fold them all the way around, which will free up the knee joints. So you see the knee joints right there. We're going to fold up the torso and spin this around. Yeah, spin this around. Just like that. And I'm going to point these things downwards. Even though let's see. No, on this version they point forward. Okay. All right. The original Big Powered had some yellow missile thingies here, so that's what this is. This is what this is meant to be. Ratcheting hip joints and ankle tilt. So there's that. But we're not done yet. Time to get powered vehicle number 2 involved in things. And we're going to do the same thing with this that we did with the powered vehicle 1, in that we're going to find the hole and get it pegged in properly. It's a neat gimmick. It's just like trying to get it executed. It's the hard part. And then the exact same thing. We're just going to slide these down into. Oh boy. Yeah. Okay. This is why this is difficult to execute this. I mean it's very ambitious, but it's also very risky. So I'm not going to risk breaking these things anymore. So basically, just remove the engine pods from the bullet fighter. Don't even try to fight that. So this, and then attach them to the associated, which you totally didn't see. Attach them to the associated sides. You don't have to have the thing attached. It's just better to take it apart. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's an outstanding gimmick, but that being said, okay, it's time to actually transform these things. So, I'm going to save myself some insanity here. It's just going to be a good old-fashioned telescoping forearm. Like that, which will reveal the elbow. And then we're going to take the turret, fold it all the way around. Let's see. Yeah, so we turn the elbow around 180, and we're going to get the hand set up. And the fingers are individually articulated, so you actually have the full. The only thing the fingers can't do is splay apart. That's the only thing they can't do. But I mean, the fact that they're able to do this, I wouldn't be too concerned. So I'm going to get these into, and yes, each finger, it's not like a giant mitt where all the fingers are molded together, but you actually have individually articulated fingers. So yeah, even the thumb has its own joint as well, and the thumb can also fold down as well. So that's pretty neat. And then it has a wrist joint that can go this way and it can go this way. So wait, is that right? It can go that way? No, it only goes side to side. But it's on a ball joint, so you can turn the wrist, make it do this. And I totally set up the thumb in the wrong direction. I knew that was going to happen. There actually is a reason why they make the thumb opposable. It's because these hands do end up serving as both sides. So it's kind of an Optimus, or it's an optimal Optimus primal thing, where his thumb was able to oppose. So we're going to get this set up as a fist on the proper side, I hope. Why did I do that to myself? I'm confusing myself. Let's flip the thumb around again. Wish I could flip the thumb around again. I could leave the fingers splayed open, but it's supposed to make a fist, so shut up. What is going on here? Oh! The wrist needs to be turned around, then you flip the thumb around. God, that actually happens a couple of times in this thing, so yeah, I'm just going to peg that in there. And I'm going to do the other hand. So, let's see. Telescope, flip around 180, put the wrist into position, make certain it's facing the correct direction. Yes, it is. And then the thumb, and then the fingers yet again. Is that right? Yes, that's right. Okay. So we got a nice punchy fist, sort of. And so this is mech mode Gaia Quaker. And again, it's an earthquake thing, not that kind of Quaker. Articulation in the arms. There's a panel on the side of the shoulders, so you can get the shoulders all the way out to almost 90 degrees, which is very, very generous and very, very awesome. And you can even keep it down if you want to keep things neat and clean, and you still have a little bit of arm movement outwards. As I've already shown you, or I have not shown you yet, the elbow is a little over 45 degrees, but it cannot get to 90 degrees just because of, well, it's kind of a bulky thing. Then you also have an elbow swivel that goes out to either side. The elbow joint itself is ratcheted, but everything else is not. Well, there is also a shoulder ratchet, but be advised, the shoulder ratchet is lightweight because the big power GV does not have any handheld weapons. The I.M.S and the original big powered GV do not have handheld weapons, but the destroyer variant does. But it's just a pair of tiny pistols, so it doesn't need to carry a sword or a big shield or a big cannon or something like that, because this thing pretty much is a big cannon. So it's deceptively lightweight ratchet, but there's not a lot of weight that it has to support. So don't be discouraged by having a lightweight ratchet in there. It actually is strong enough to be able to hold its own weight, so don't worry about that. And then there's the elbow joint, which is a lot more meaty of a ratchet joint. And then, as I said, the wrist can bend like this, and it can turn, and you can open up all the fingers. And then I'll just do the same to the other side. But having that panel on the side of the shoulder so you can fold the shoulder all the way up, that's really, really nice. So this is this Gaia powered mode? No, this is Gaia Quaker. And it's just a pair of arms attached to the pelvis. That's pretty much all that it is. So I guess that means we're getting kind of close to the end, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. Okay, moving on towards the big boy. Believe it or not, in the instructions, by the time you reach big powered GV mode, that's only the halfway point of the instruction booklet. Everything I've got to up to point is half of the things that you can do with it. It's pretty doggone overwhelming. So for big powered GV, they tell you to just, and you look at it in the animation, you will see it do this. The cockpit just slides backwards from the powered vehicle 3. It just slides back, and that's it. So the cockpit actually is located in the lower back, just above the pelvis. It's a strange combination. So just for my own sanity, I'm just going to attach the arms like that. That goes there, and then that goes like that. And then we're going to take, yeah, I'm almost there, so whatever. All right, I'll do it this way. And again, because the original big powered had the little powered suit sitting in there. There's no peg, by the way. It also, again, the powered suit fits in by using friction along the side of the forearms. So there is no peg, there is no snap when you put it into the chest like this. Now we're going to do something a little different here. I need to double check my sequence here. Okay. So I'm going to take this and peg it into the top somewhere, somehow. There we go. Okay. This is the big thing that just on Saturday night when I put the thing together. So there's this panel on the top of powered vehicle 1. You're going to slide it forward, and there's the head on the inside there. Now I already showed you that you could take the powered suit for powered vehicle number 1, and you could store it on the inside. In the particular case of big powered GV, you could just store it in there, and whatever. That's actually a good place to store it because it's just hidden away, and you don't even have to think about it. But watch this. So you open up this panel, you slide this panel on the top, it reveals the head. Watch this. Fucking watch this. Did you see that? And this is actually on, the head is on a spring. And it only goes back down when you pull the door open. And if you close the door, the head does not pop up. So there's a mechanism on the inside that prevents the head from raising up. The head is not always exposed. Are you listening, Bandai Plex Toei? The head is not always exposed. And the only way you can raise it, and I should point out, it doesn't matter if you have the powered suit in here or not. You don't have to worry about that. Just the point is, you have to have this panel open, and just like in that trailer that I showed you quite a while ago, look at that. Isn't that unbelievable? Put these cannons down. And there you have Big powered GV I.M.S version. Standing an appropriate 13 inches tall when it's finished. Is that 13 inches? Yeah, that's about 13 inches, unless you want to point these cannons a little further skyward, in which case it becomes 14 inches tall. But I'm not going to worry myself about that. Would you look at this? Oh, I forgot to fold these down. I'm not going to have them stick out. Screw you. Oh my God. The only thing that I'm surprised about is that it doesn't have feet that stick out in the front. It doesn't have toes. It's a very blocky foot. It does not stick beyond. You could shift it forward, but believe it or not, you're going to lose your ankle articulation if you slide it any further forward. And again, I'll point out, you do not need to extend those cannon barrels from the attack mode on Powered Vehicle 4. You don't need to, because, excuse me, the friction on the inside of the ankle joints is strong enough. I said joints, plural. It's not a ball joint. The individual joints in there are strong, or they're strong enough, and there's enough friction outside of straight out of the box. You don't have to worry about it tipping over so easily, so that's not a problem. But oh my gods, that's just redonkulous. And again, this is the repainted version. The original version would have had, a big red chest and there'd be yellow all over the place. And it's very much meant to be colored up like the original. But this is the more gutsy version. And I should point out, the head does indeed have light piping. If I can do it properly. You don't want to sell me death sticks. You don't want to sell me death sticks. Let's see. There we go. You can kind of see it. Anyways, yes. I hope I have a scan. I hope I can find a scan that's a bigger version of the head. But wait, there's more. The head can turn side to side, almost 90 degrees, and I just revealed something I had yet to reveal. And you can tilt the head upwards a little bit. Just a little. It's just you can make it look skyward a little bit. So yeah, you get head articulation on it. Now there's another feature on here that's pretty goddamn amazing. I'm not going to do it here because it's kind of a pain in the ass to undo it. There's cheek guards on it, okay, because all decent giant robots have a cheek guard, right? And it also has a face plate, or it has a mouth plate on it, okay? If you fold the cheek guards aside, or they're actually hinged. If you fold the cheek guards aside, you'll see that the mouth guard goes along with it. And the mouth guard's actually split down the middle. You can fold the mouth guard into the cheek guards, and then you can put the cheek guards back, and it has a pair of lips on there. I don't know why it has lips, but the point is it does. So you can change it from animated Optimus Prime into animated Optimus Prime at will. To be fair, though, that mouth guard is really flippin' tiny pieces of plastic. So you're going to need a pen or a paper clip to pull those things out of there once it's folded in. I prefer to have it closed up because why would you call it big powered and then have it with a fragile mouth? Just saying. But yes, big powered GV. But wait, there's more. In addition to the Gatling cannons that are up here on the shoulders, I'm assuming that's what they're called, shut your face, and presumably it's got some finger cannons or whatever it is because, well, even the thumb has little indications of like it looks like there's a little cannon barrel. Maybe they're like Vulcan guns. So in addition to the DACA, it also comes with some swoosh in the form of not one, not two, not three, but 4 missile launchers. And each one of those missile launchers comes with 14 missiles. 14 times 4 is 56, I think. That's a lot of missiles. It's not quite the Macross Missile Massacre, but it's respectable regardless. It makes for a decent Alpha Strike, And then I might as well open up the fingers all the way. Just like that Alpha Strike that the regular big power GVs did. You can point the fingers forward, and then you got the little cannon barrels or whatever it is. And then the Destroyer variant has giant beam cannons. Oh yeah, the cannons on the Destroyer version. These are giant beam cannons, and it has turrets, and then it has larger claws. I think there's a pair of additional cannons on here. I don't remember. And then these fold out whatchamacallits here, these things have been replaced by an additional set of missile launchers that actually fold outwards. So it's got a whole bunch of extra, accessories or whatever it is on top of everything that you're seeing here. So this thing is just loaded to the gills with like everything. It's ridiculous. It really is. Oh, by the way, we have, let's see, I've already shown you the arms. We've got the legs, which can be splayed. These ratchet all the way out to 90 degrees. These ratchet down to about 45 degrees. Oops. Yeah, these ratchet to about 45 degrees. But keep in mind, you don't really need to worry about articulation when it comes to this thing. I mean, the fact that it has it is absolutely stunning. Come on, get off of there. Now, if you remove the tractor tread from powered vehicle 3, you can get almost a 90-degree tilt. I'm guessing that's the reason why these are removable. Oh, I just put 2 and 2 together. Oh, I just put 2 and 2 together. Huh. Well, that is what that is for. Ironically, the claws, I think, yeah, you can open the claws on the knees, but you can't fold them downwards. So you can open them up, but why would you want to? And then, of course, because of how it transforms in the individual powered vehicle 4 and 5 modes, you have a little bit of articulation. I'm not going to super highlight it here. And also, you can turn it side to side as well, if you want to do that kind of posing. And then I've already said there's an ankle tilt in there as well. Although it does tilt inwards a little better than it does outward. No, it doesn't. I'm a liar. Sorry. And then it has a friction waist swivel as well. And the head can look both sideways and it can look up. How can I put this eloquently? I can't really. Ryusoldier? Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself, because 1 year ago, over 1 year ago, almost 2 years at this point, almost 2 years ago, your competitor came up with one hell of a part swapper. This is part swapping. This is acceptable part swapping because every single part has something interesting to do. Yeah, you end up with a little bit of combiner kibble, but oh, by the way, this has some features all by itself. And this also has some features all to itself. So, Ryusoldier, get fucked. Really get fucked. This is so good. By the way, I'm only at the halfway point. At least in the instructions, I'm at the halfway point. This is just ridiculous. Okay, so, oh, and it has light piping, and it has the ability to fold away the mask if you so desire. This is ridiculous. And it incorporates a transformation gimmick that I'm guessing wasn't in the original. I'm guessing. So, I haven't gone through all the modes since, was it Saturday? Yeah, Saturday. I haven't gone through all the modes, so I have to kind of think for a moment. So I'm going to take off the cannon barrels, which pop off. But, to be fair, there's a lot of friction on these things. So just work it down a little bit. It'll be fine. And by the way, you can stick these 2 cannon barrels on a couple of other locations as well. For example, the bullet fighter. I'm not going to put these on terribly securely, but you can attach these Gatling cannon barrels to the bullet fighter as well. So you can do that if you want to. Bring the DACA in the most ridiculous of fashion. It's like attaching an AC-10 to a Raven. It's like, why would you do that? Because you can, and it's hilarious. In any event. Oh, I just thought of another one you could do. You could stick these cannon barrels on the back of the command vehicle if you wanted to. So, there's a number of places you can stick it. Stick it. How do I do this? Okay, so, right. Actually, I'm going to take him out of there while I'm thinking about it. Ooh, there we go. I was mentioning earlier that the only way the head transforms is if this is up, but I also pointed out that you can do this. You could do the head reveal without the powered suit in there. So there's the proof right there. It's not dependent on the powered suit being present, although that would have been really awesome. Although I thought that's what it was on Saturday. I was like, oh my god, you have to have the powered suit in there to reveal the thing. No, you don't. Flip the side torsos all the way around. And now we're going to do an entire arm reversal. So currently the arms are facing the wrong direction. So we're going to flip the elbows around. We're going to flip the wrists around. You know, I should just keep these fingers open to save myself the trouble. And then we're going to flip the thumbs around. And then there, lo and behold, we have two left arms attached to the thing. See, there's a left arm there, and there's a left arm there. You see how that works? Let's see. Okay, so flip the elbow around, 180. Flip the wrist around, flip the thumb around. And that's actually very similar to what Transmetal 1 Optimus Primal could do. He did kind of a similar thing where you rotate the wrists around. Or no, he actually did a fist swap. He actually had two fists on each forearm, attached to each forearm. So it would just swap around like that. So anyways, yeah, so we've completely reversed the torso now. As a result of this, we're going to use this extra set of Gatling cannon mounting points, which are located in the same place, because in case you haven't noticed, there's one up there and there's one down there. We were using these until just now. Now we're using these up here. So it looks exactly the same, even though the cannon barrels have swapped positions. As a matter of fact, the side torsos are basically upside down right now, if you think about it, because we rotated them around 180 degrees. If they couldn't remove the cannon barrels, then the cannon barrels would have been underneath, which is admittedly awesome. So you have an under the arm cannon, which, you know, I can live with that. But it wouldn't work with the pelvis attached there, so you kind of have to do this. In any event, oh yeah, because we flipped around the torso, now we also have to flip around the pelvis 180 degrees. So now the cockpit, instead of being located in its lower back and looking forward, now it's going to be located in its belly and it's going to be facing backwards. It's just kind of the way it works. I seriously doubt that the original Big Powered could do this. I should point out that, as I understand it, there is a distinction between Big Powered and Big Powered GV. I'm under the impression the designation GV is specifically reserved for the reboot. So when I say GV, it's in reference to this, as opposed to just Big Powered, where I'm referencing the original. So be aware, there is a distinction there. Okay, so this is all flipped around. And then the reason we do that is we attach the command vehicle to that peg, a really annoying peg, so we'll put it in there, but not too far, because I still need to be able to remove it for later on, just saying. And then, let's see. And then we will take this angular cockpit and we will stick it up here. And then we will have, what's this called? Walking Fortress mode. Oops, forgot to fold up those little missiles that are not really missiles. Maybe they're like laser guns or something along those lines on the hips there. So you're supposed to have those folded up. So yes, Walking Fortress mode, which is about as close as you can get to getting rid of all the kibble that's left over. You could store the powered suit inside here. You could do that if you want to, and just because of how convenient it is for all these extra pegs and whatnot, you can take the leftover bits of the what's it called? The bullet fighter. You can stick it on the top here, and there it is. You know, aside from this being stored in here, there it is. You have all of your kibble taken care of, everything attached all at one time. Take that, Transformers. Take that, Super Sentai. Although Super Sentai nowadays, they do their best to not have combiner kibble left around. That's not to say they don't still do it. I'm looking at you, Ryu Soldier, but just, you know, be aware that this is here. What you can do is remove the powered suit from the back. And you thought that the powered suit was something impressive to look at. Oh yeah, well, take a look at this. The powered suit alone can control the walking fortress mode with all. I should have looked it up. 56 missiles, I think. 56 missiles, cannon barrels, sonic drilling tools, or whatever you want to. I don't know what they're called. So you can stick him in there too. Walking fortress mode, which you also saw in the most of these modes, you see them in the various trailers. So, whew. Do I have any regrets about not opening this? 9 months after the fact. But do I have any regrets about maybe I should have waited a little longer? Uh, Now that um, the destroyer variant has been announced, should I have gotten the destroyer version? Kind of the thing that made this work for me originally, the I.M.S version specifically, was the ability of the hands. But Ava, the destroyer version, also has hands. Yeah, it does. But oh, those point backwards. All right. Uh, yeah, it does have the destroyer version does have hands, and that's all well and good. But I just wanted muted colors. I didn't want a complete palette change. That's kind of what the Destroyer version. The Destroyer is all black and gray and silver, and it's got red stripes, and that's all well and good. But this one, there's a couple different shades of gray. There's silver, there's a muted metallic blue, and then there's orange rather than yellow. So to me, it's like, well, they just kind of swapped out the red for blue, and they swapped out the blue for gray. So it's not a 100%. They're muted colorings rather than just outright complete repaint from top to bottom. And also the head design. For whatever reason, the Destroyer version has a visor that drops down on it, but I'm fairly certain this doesn't have it, which is weird because, yeah. So I mean, it still has the mouth plate that can open and close, and that's all well and good, but no, I don't. I don't want this Destroyer variant. This is enough for me. This is comfortable for me. This one's not a huge variation. He just kind of sits down and you unfold the legs again. And then we actually use this independent of having the vehicle that it's attached to it. It's a little difficult getting this in here just because the side torso tractor tread assemblies are, they twist independent of each other. So it's a little tricky getting in here, but it's not a huge thing. It's just, or rather, it's something that you usually don't encounter in combiner kibble and stuff like that. But anyways, they want you to attach this to the top here like this with the barrels forward. Yes. And then here's kind of an odd one. We're going to take the command vehicle. I know I keep calling it the command vehicle, but like I can't think of anything better. But because again, there's no name for it. It says mode names, but it doesn't give the names of individual vehicles. There's like powered vehicle 1, powered vehicle 2, but it doesn't assign a name to, or it doesn't have an English it doesn't have an English name for this. So it's just kind of, it's an escape vehicle. It's a scout vehicle of some kind. So when I call this the command vehicle, it's because I can't think of anything better because it's not listed. So whatever. Anyways, if you want to talk about strange. Earlier we had the what was it called? Gaia powered, something along those lines. It was basically that it was powered vehicles 2, 3, or it was powered vehicles 3, 4, and 5, and then you just attach this on the front. Well, previously you were attaching it back here, relatively speaking, but now we're going to do something that hasn't been done before and won't be done again. Those attachment points that we saw earlier, rather than hooking them into the tractor tread assemblies, we're actually going to be sliding into either side of the foot assemblies. And you're going to do this, you need to do this very, very carefully because there's like no support on here whatsoever. So you're just going to be wedging it in between the feet. And there's holes that are right there, which are screw holes, by the way, I should point out. And you're just going to fit it in there. And it stays in only with friction. They also want you to couple together the tractor assemblies with those really narrow those tabs you can fold outwards. I don't. This is one of the occasions where you don't need to because, again, you're not going to be rolling because you're not a little kid. You're not going to be rolling this around all over the place. You're not just going to sit on the ground and whee. So I wouldn't I wouldn't worry about it too much. Again, it's about preserving those admittedly very tiny pegs right there, or those tabs, connection tabs. And again, here's another mode where the hands are supposed to be cannon barrels. So this is a point where again it's going to look awkward just because this is the I.M.S version. Anyways, this is called heavy tank base mode. I don't even, and I don't think, no, this version does not appear in the in any of the movies, probably because they knew how ridiculous it was to have the command vehicle sitting out in front. It's kind of like, the dog wagging, or the tail wagging the dog. It's that kind of scenario. If you look at Go-Go trailer from Go-Go Sente Bokenger, it's pretty much the same scenario, and you've heard me complain about this before. So, as ridiculous as this is, it is the command vehicle in front of. This is basically a giant, just a massive turret. Although why it is that the head is still sitting up in this mode, I'm not entirely certain why, but they're insisting, so whatever. I kind of wish that they had shown in the instructions, in the sequence of the instructions, I wish that they'd gone to this mode first instead of Walking Fortress mode. Because with Walking Fortress, you have to disconnect powered vehicles 1 and 2. You have to completely flip them around, then you have to stick them back on. You got to rotate around the waist sections. So I kind of wish they'd gone to this mode instead, because really all it does is just sits on its butt. You attach these things, and you attach this, which in the grand scheme of things, oh, and then you also fold these missile drilling thingies, or well, I don't know what they're called. It doesn't matter. So yeah, here's heavy tank base mode, which is pretty silly, and I really don't care. Is there any variation of this? No, there is not. So heavy tank base mode. Shrug.